Welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Lakshmi, retired professor, Andhra University and UGC Emeritus Fellow, Department of Library and Information Science, Andhra University. My presentation now is on bibliographies. This is a part of course 5 of EPG Pathshala, that is on information sources, services and systems. This under sources actually we are discussing about bibliographies. Bibliographies, the importance of bibliographies, how to compile bibliographies as librarians you should know. That's why owing to the importance of this particular aspect, a unit has been developed on this, and today you are going to learn about this unit. Bibliography means, you all know about it, you might have heard about bibliography. Bibliography means a list of books. You might have seen the list of books at the end of an article, or at the end of a book, or even at the end of a research project. At the end of anything, you'll find a bibliography. It is just a list of books referred by that particular author that are cited at the end of the article. Similarly, bibliographies can be prepared that are published by a particular author. For example, all publications of Shakespeare, it is author's bibliography, we'll call it as, or all publications by a particular publisher like McGraw-Hill, that is also a bibliography. So any list of documents is called as a bibliography. So you know the concept, but today you are going to learn more about it, because as librarians you have to procure bibliographies that are already published, and you all have also to compile bibliographies. So you should know more about bibliographies, which you are going to learn in this particular unit. Basically, bibliographies are the tools to find the information. After invention of printing press, the volume of literature has increased. So the scientists found it difficult to find information, whether it is available or not, if available, where it is available. Two aspects, that is, they have to identify whether information is already developed in that particular area or not. If they don't know that, they have to repeat the same experimentation, same findings, same research. So there is a waste of energy and money also. So for that purpose, first they want to know what is already available. So these are the tools to give them information about what is already available. That is the importance of bibliography. At the same time, where it is available, it is already published, it is already done, but where it is available, how to locate it. So these are the basic location tools. That's why we'll call them as pathfinders also. These are the basic location tools. So because of this importance, actually bibliographies are divided into different types, and all those details you are going to study in this. So scholars and scientists depend on bibliographic sources to draw an overview of subject, that is what has already been developed, and find a document which is suitable for their research, and to find out what is not already developed, and to go through that and to search in that particular area. Otherwise, they are bound to miss some part of the literature. Compilation of bibliographies is a process or technique that belongs to the whole of scholarship. That is not only librarians, even the researchers also will do that compilation. So it is a compilation of bibliographies is a vast area that can be prepared either by the author or by the trader or by the librarian. And as librarians, we are concerned more with the enumerative bibliography, which we are going to discuss in detail later. So as I told you, the increased growth of information made it impossible to find a particular book or a journal article without proper key. So there is treasure of knowledge, but without key you cannot open that treasure. So bibliographies are those keys to open the treasure and to find out what is available and where it is available and how to get them and how to read them. This is the purpose. Let us look at the evolution of bibliographies. The origin of bibliographies can be traced back to the Assurbanipal period and Greek civilization of 7th century, because they have developed a list of clay tablets they hold in their libraries. Before invention of printing press, the word was used in the sense of copying. Here, because number of copies are very limited, the scribes used to copy the documents. So in this context, they used to say about the bibliography means writing of books. Later, after the printing press have been developed, number of copies have increased. Now the context have changed from writing of books to writing about books. Bibliographies have a long evolution. Just now we have discussed about it. How this evolution has happened. Basically, when at the starting of writing of books, the author used to write a book, but how to produce multiple copies? At that time there was no printing press. So the scribes used to prepare multiple copies. So this copying and making the book into multiple copies was called as bibliography. That was at that time. But later, once printing press came into existence and it has been globalized, in every country printing publications are coming in print, then there was no need for scribes. So there was no need for such copying. So because of this, the concept has been changed. So instead of copying of books or writing of books, now it is called as about books, writing about books. That is, we are describing the book. What we are describing, that is describing about how to identify, that is how to locate. These are the two things we are giving. How to identify, that is by author, by title, by subject, and the location, where it is available, who is the publisher, what is the size of the book. So all details, we are describing all details of the book. So this is what bibliography means. Now, so it has changed from in its evolution from writing of books to writing about books. In 1763, change from writing of books to writing about books have occurred. The fair catalogs, that is the book exhibitions conducted at Frankfurt and Leipzig in 16th century, have led to the compilation of the bibliography. That is, we can call them as trade bibliographies also. Then in 1719, lists of private collections developed. Anyway, though during 18th century bibliographies were there, they have not contributed much to the development of the context. Only during the 20th century, the British Museum developed a catalogue of books in 15th century, and Pollard has published Textual bibliography on Shakespeare works. So these are the two best examples of the initiation regarding the bibliographies. Therefore, the historical development of bibliographies can be summarized as early bibliographies, that are the trade catalogues or trade bibliographies, later attempts to compile universal bibliography and subject-wise lists of books. During 18th century, subject-wise listing are otherwise called as critical bibliography, and during 19th and 20th centuries developed subject-wise listing of books, which we are actually following even today. Coming to the definition of bibliography, bibliography has been defined by many people in many ways. Ranganathan has viewed it from the user point of view and defined it as a list of documents listed together for some purpose. The purpose is to bring to the attention of the reader an exhaustive and selective list of documents relevant to his pursuit of study or inquiry. So this is basically the purpose of a bibliography, to bring the information to the notice of user. That's why we are calling it as a location tool. The scope of bibliographies. The scope of bibliographies varies because they may be universal, national, partial towards a region or a subject. They may be comprehensive or just a reading list. What are the aims and functions of bibliographies? In 1950s, UNESCO and Library of Congress have listed the aims of bibliographies. The first one is, its aim is to make it possible for intellectual workers to learn of publications recording the developments of their fields of interest, not only in their own country but also throughout the world. The second function is to promote the effectiveness of a particular project in research. One is contribute to the cultural development and enjoyment which are derived from records of learning and culture. Last one is assist in promoting useful applications of existing knowledge and making the applications which have been developed in one country widely known to all other countries. The next part is to discuss about the branches and types of libraries. This we are dealing in detail, but before going to those details, I just want to give the difference between branches of bibliography and types of bibliography, because you should have a basic understanding about these two. Branches means while developing the bibliographies, according to the activity they have taken up, we can identify different bibliographies. For example, basically we can categorize into systematic or enumerative bibliography and analytical bibliography. Enumerative bibliography, as the name indicates, it is systematically describing the documents. It is recording. just recording the or preparing the list. That is enumeration. Next one is analytical. As librarians, we are mainly concerned with systematic bibliography. Analytical bibliography, this is another branch, that is already prepared bibliographies I am talking about. So analytical bibliographies will talk about the books, that is critical analysis of the book. When that particular book, this is more related to manuscripts or the incunabula, that is before printing press. So when that book has been published, by identifying the book, the age of the book, by its font size, or by the method of presentation, or from the paper used, or from the font size used, from all the collation they'll call it as. So from these they'll identify, and sometimes even critical evaluation of the content also will come under the analytical bibliography. So basically two branches can be identified. One is enumerative or systematic bibliography, and the other is analytical bibliography. So as librarians, we are describing the document, so enumerative bibliography we are more dearer, but we have to know about the analytical bibliography also, because we are answerable to the users when they are coming with some analytical questions. So the next one is about the types of bibliographies. Types is the bibliographies, depending upon the scope they are dealing with, can be categorized into different types. For example, if it is the scope is all publications of a trader, then it is a trade bibliography. If it is all publications of an author, then it is author bibliography. It is all publications in a particular concept, then it is subject bibliography. It is all publications of a particular region, then it is regional bibliography. All publications of a language, it is language bibliography. So that is the difference between branches and types. Types is depending upon the scope, whereas branches depending upon the activity of that bibliography. Analytical or critical bibliography is further categorized into descriptive bibliography, historical bibliography, and textual bibliography. In fact, librarians are not much concerned about this because it is critical aspect. Most of the authors or historians are dealing with this subject. First, let us see about the descriptive bibliography. Descriptive bibliographies are books that give full physical description of the books they list, enabling to distinguish one edition from another and to identify significant variations within a single edition. So this is basically about the perfect state of the book, aesthetic features of the book, about the period of the book, all these physical details of the book. Then historical bibliography. History of making books, that is about writing, printing, illustrations, binding, etc. So it indicates the evolution of writing, printing, binding, etc. of the books. So this is about the physical description. Next one is textual bibliography. Textual bibliography, or sometimes also called as textual criticism, tries to provide with the most accurate text of writer's work. The purpose is to determine the effect of writing or printing process, its completeness, variations among editions, etc. It requires a literary critic to do this job, and librarians cannot go for this criticism. So basically, this part of branch, critical bibliography, is dealt by the historians or literary critics, and librarians are mainly concerned with enumerative or systematic bibliography. So far we have discussed about the branches of bibliographies. Now let us discuss about types of bibliographies. As I told you, there are different types of bibliographies, but before going to the types, just I want to give a brief introduction about the enumerative bibliography and its importance. Enumerative bibliographies, with which we the librarians are concerned, provide different kinds of information. Some focus on total collection of an author, some focus on only on specific subject, some are prepared basically on the best books that are available, best books for children, best books for adolescents, in this way. So based on the nature of the bibliographies, enumerative bibliographies or systematic bibliographies are further divided into two types, that is general and special. The general bibliographies includes universal, national, regional, trade, language bibliographies, because they are not confined to a particular author or a particular subject or particular type of material like incunabula. Special bibliographies includes author, personal, subject bibliographies, selective bibliographies, incunabula, and bibliography of bibliographies. Incunabula are the first type of bibliographies we can say. That is, this type of bibliography lists the early printed works up to 15th century. It was considered as a cradle period of printing, and the systematic order in arranging various parts of a book was not followed. Some examples are Proctor Robert, an index to the early printed books in the British Museum. Trade bibliographies already have given an example, that is Frankfurt Leipzig exhibition trade catalogs. So in the present context, we can also say about the books in print published by the R.R. Bowker USA. The next type of bibliography is selected or eclectic bibliography. This kind of bibliography is concerned with the listing of only selected and the best books. Example, World's Best Books, Homer to Hemingway by Dickens. The next type of bibliography is subject bibliography. As librarians, we are mainly concerned with subject bibliography. It is a comprehensive list of all books, all periodical articles or pamphlets and other reading material in a particular subject. Example, the Cambridge Bibliography of English Literature, published in 4 volumes with a supplement 5th volume, edited by G. Watson. Next type of bibliography is author bibliography or biobibliography. That is, it records all articles, books, everything written by an author or attributed to him or on the author. For example, Sharma Jagdish, Mahatma Gandhi, a descriptive bibliography. It includes a bibliography of all books written by Gandhi and on Gandhi. Bibliography of bibliographies is the next type of bibliography. Bibliography itself is a secondary source because it is listing the books and periodical articles. These bibliographies became innumerable. So to have a control over these bibliographies, bibliography of bibliographies have been developed. So it is a list of bibliographies listed in a systematic and logical order. It includes all types of bibliographies published in different fields. Example is the World Bibliography of Bibliographies and the bibliographical catalogs, calendar, abstracts, digests, indexes, etc. Bibliophilic bibliographies. This is the last type of bibliography. Bibliophilics are the book lovers. Book lovers will have a good collection of books. So if you have prepared a list of books collected by a book lover, it is called as bibliophilic bibliographies. These are different types of bibliographies. Then few bibliographies we will discuss in detail, which are related much to the library field. The first one is universal bibliography. According to Ranganathan, a bibliography to be universal should include all published material, whether books or parts of them, or periodicals or articles in them, or combination of them on all subjects, in all languages, in all countries and at all times. So attempts have been made for this universal bibliography. The first attempt is by Conrad Gessner, who developed in 1543 a Bibliotheca Universalis. Mass catalogs of the trade catalogs of Frankfurt and Leipzig book fairs also comes under the universal bibliographies. Further attempts were made during 18th century and 19th century, but the best effort we can talk about is about the Paul Artlett and Henry La Fontaine. During 1895, they have proposed a universal bibliography and made certain attempts towards it, though they were unsuccessful. What is the problem of compiling a universal bibliography? As the name itself indicates, universal bibliography means all publications in the entire world, which itself is an impossible task. Completeness is not possible. Only information available, but not the books. Even with this information, if we prepare catalog cards, that will take acres of lands just to store them. Then arrangement of entries is also a problem. Lot of manpower is required for the compilation of universal bibliography. So instead of preparing a universal bibliography, certain alternate methods were suggested. The best method is having each nation having its own bibliography, and if all these national bibliographies are compiled together, it becomes the universal bibliography. Or a selective universal bibliography, for example, on a particular subject, maybe food and nutrition or aeronautics, taking a particular subject and preparing a universal bibliography. Even that is also difficult, but still some attempts can be made. So finally it was felt that universal bibliography is not necessary because it is unusable due to bulk, and large amount of information may not be necessary. The next important of bibliographies is national bibliographies. So as the name indicates, a national bibliography should include all publications on the country, by the country, in all subjects, in all languages, and all forms of material. Ranganathan recognizes the following categories of national bibliography: list of all books published in a country, on a country, by all citizens of the country, on all the citizens of the country, and a combination of all the above. We can further discuss about national bibliography in the next slide. So national bibliography can be defined as a source that attempts to list as comprehensively as possible the publications of a particular country during a specific period. Examples are Indian National Bibliography published by Central Reference Library, Calcutta; British National Bibliography published by British Library, London; National Union Catalogue of Library of Congress, USA. Now the national bibliographies are available even in electronic form. With the advent of electronic databases, national bibliography has been undergone a tremendous amount of change. Difficulties related to access have all but eliminated in many cases. For example, the Czech Republic publishes its national bibliography as a DVD. Online catalogs for national libraries now serve as the function of a national bibliography. Many countries have online versions of their national bibliographies. All of these new formats are giving a new significance to the national bibliography as a resource for scholars. Compilation of bibliographies or webliographies. Here so far you have learnt about bibliographies and you have learned something about webliographies also in the context of digital environment. So how to compile them? As librarians, we are expected to compile the bibliographies. So the steps in compilation will come as described by Kishan Kumar. Before that, compilation means preparation of bibliographies. There are standard formats for bibliographies with regard to the elements to be included with little variation. For example, author element, title element, class number. So some include class number of DDC, some include CCE, and some include both. So, and some include index terms or subject headings, some do not include. So, but there are certain standardizations. The basic elements, some will include price and some will not include price. So, these are the elements to be included. The compilation of bibliographies and bibliographies are slightly different because of the environment. But the basic principle is same. That is, you are describing a book that facilitates the user to identify whether that book is necessary for him or not, if necessary, where it is available, that is the location. So that basic principle is same whether it is in webliography or in bibliography. Webliography will help him to identify and locate a document on the web, whereas bibliography will help him to find out a book either in a particular library or anywhere else. Need not be a library, because bibliographies are not confined to libraries like catalogs. So he can find out the information from anywhere, from any other library or any other store or anything. So this is a basic difference, basic concept of compilation of bibliographies. Let us see the steps in the bibliography. Kishan Kumar and Girija Kumar has done a lot of work in this, and according to Kishan Kumar, it includes the planning phase, which involves the definition of the subject and its scope, and search for documents, that is from catalogs or books or periodicals and other micro documents. We have to search for the information. Then selection of information, pruning out the unnecessary one and selecting only the relevant ones, and preparation of entries with the help of standard catalog code, and arranging the entries in a classified or alphabetical order, or usually both orders will be preferred. Preparation of bibliography in typed form or in print form, but now they are available even in the electronic form. With the change in the information environment, especially the network development, bibliographies have emerged. We are calling bibliography, wherein bibliography, biblio means books, so it is list of books. But now we are depending upon the web, data on the web. So this is called as bibliography. So if you prepare a list of websites available on a particular subject, or by a particular author, or of a particular region, or by a particular publisher, then these are called as bibliographies. Now similar control mechanism is required for electronic documents, And bibliography is the name bibliography was coined by Dr. James Frankel in 2000. The bibliography presents a wide range of electronic resources related to a specific subject that are freely available on the internet. Bibliography denotes an enumerative list of hyperlinks surrounding a common subject or theme following standard citation guidelines. Bibliography is needed to facilitate limited user time to access the internet, lack of search skills, difficult to find pertinent information from the huge or mass of information available, which usually we'll call it as finding a needle from haystack, need for bibliographical control to identify and locate information, to save time of the user, and to have optimum access and use of information, which is more important than other reasons. How to compile a bibliography? It is similar to that of the traditional bibliography of printed resources. Dirish has suggested the following steps: selecting the topic and the scope of it, searching on the web instead of the catalogs and books and library shelves. We can search the web, navigate the navigation of this web, browsing and selecting the best among the retrieved, relevant among the retrieved, creating a web page, and writing an introduction, preparing a table of content to help user to navigate the subject gateways easier. Evaluation of bibliographies. Evaluation is an important concept in reference services because reference books are very costly. They are very expensive and they are not revised annually or in a frequent time period. Their revision is also for 10 years, 15 years, like that. Because preparation of reference books itself is very expensive and procuring them is still expensive for the libraries. So because of this, while purchasing a reference book, we have to know the worth of it, how far it is suitable for our audience or our library users, and what is the condition of the book, whether it can retain, because it is more and more useful, more and more used in a library, because in a reference section, same encyclopedia will be used by multiple users multiple times. So how it can withstand for that multiple use? So the tangibility of the paper, tangibility of the binding, so the physical structure of the document as well as the content of the document to be suitable to our library or not. That is the worthiness of the document in terms of the container as well as the content. That is the importance of evaluation. For almost all reference sources, we have to do this evaluation. For bibliographies also, there are certain evaluation criteria, and the basic criteria are authority, scope, entries and items of information, arrangement, entries and items of information, revision policy, special features, drawbacks, and format. These criteria are almost all similar to any type of reference source, and bibliographies also hold the same criteria for evaluation. Summary. In this unit, so far you have seen the importance of bibliographies, what are bibliographies, their evolution and their branches, types, and in detail about different types of bibliographies and also their compilation. So bibliographies are very important. That's why even at the national level, every nation is developing its own national bibliography, because that is the control apparatus for the intellectual output of a nation. Similarly, even in the library also, when a researcher comes and asks you, or any user comes and asks you for a particular books available on a particular topic of his interest, then you have to compile a bibliography. So without compilation of bibliographies, especially the subject bibliographies, the scientific community cannot survive with their information needs. So compilation of bibliographies and serving the users with this basic service, or one of the core services of a library, is more important. That's why you have to learn more about bibliographies. If you want to learn more, already the more detailed information is available in e-text. Please refer to that also, and under that learn more also given, so you can refer the other books also for more information. Thank you very much.